undergrad for the University of Puerto Rico Mayagüez campus.
So what did y'all do for your project?
Well, we put together this robot.
And what does it do?
Like, our goal is, up here, we're going to one day replace search and rescue dogs. The point is that it's not a good idea to keep putting human and animal lives in danger to try and save other human beings. So why not put in a robot to do it for you? Like, you can customize these robots depending on what situation is.
So for disaster recovery.
And for reconnaissance.
So what did you have to do to the robot? Tell me specifically the details. So you started off with just a kit?
Yeah. So we started off with just this RC chassis here, and we went ahead and pulled off the receiver, and transmitter receiver, we're done with all that. And we replaced it with this DSP board here. And through the DSP, we use a sonar to sense something in front of it, the compass to tell, how many degrees from north it needs to go, and the tilt sensor to tell, what the robot's body orientation is, so that way it can traverse objects. And so we used all these things in the C interpreter that's in the firmware on the DSP. In order to, we just uploaded C files that we wrote our source code to the DSP and then ran it off of there. And depending on the relationship between the robot's environment and the sensors, it tells the robot what to do.
So eventually you'd like to make this autonomous, so there's no human interaction.
Exactly. The point is just to turn it on and eventually throw 10 of them out an aircraft or something, in a really dangerous area, and they will just automatically know, depending on what their primary directive is, what to do, with no help really from the outside world.
Does it work?
It kind of works. Right now, we only have a while loop in it, just telling it to avoid obstacles. If you see something in front of you, then do this.
You can do everything on your computer. And this way, you can do, let's say when I add more instruments, I can have more
So tell us again, what is it using to detect what's in front of it?
Sonar.
It's using a sonar sensor here. It just detects motion from, it sends a sonar pulse out, and it receives or judges how much time it takes for the signal to come back, and sends us a number corresponding to what that distance is. And so we just use that distance to tell it, what to avoid, how far away.
And then lastly, what sorts of things do you want to add on that you maybe didn't get to this time?
The compass we want to add on, the accelerometer we want to add on. Those things weren't working, and eventually we'd like to add on a camera to see things like we do, and a way to transmit those things back to base, wherever that may be.
And where would you test this?
We would like to test this eventually in Disaster City. That's where we did the prototyping for the RC car, and it worked out great, just human controlled. Now we'd like to test it there in Disaster City again to see if it can do it as an autonomous agent.
And I'm going to ask each of you, what did you learn? What's one thing that you learned over the summer working on this project? What's one thing that you maybe didn't know before you worked on this project? After having worked on it, something that was a new experience for you, something you hadn't done before?
Well, I've never actually worked ever before with sonars or motors or any of this. I've only learned maybe these things theoretically. Now I've actually had the chance to apply them. So I feel it's great to know that now I know how things are working with the DSP board and everything.
And we just started with a laboratory full of parts, and we just wanted to make this thing. And so I learned a lot about DSPs and how to communicate with them with a computer. You know, a little bit more about pulse width modulation and the sensors, the hardware that we're using in order for this thing to sense its environment. I didn't have any hands-on experience with that before. It was all theoretical till now.
So after doing this research on this project, is this something that's made you a little bit more apt to go to grad school? Something you may want to consider?
Definitely. I don't know, watching things like AI and Bicentennial Man, you're like, oh yeah, all these machine ideas, they're really cool, but actually working hands-on in robotics, I definitely want to go to grad school, maybe push the area further.
Is this something that's inspired you to do more research, maybe in grad school?
Well, yes. Before I had no idea which area I wanted to do grad school in, and now I know that I'm going to do it in robotics. It's a very wide place to do research and many possibilities.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.